COVID-19 has significantly disrupted the pharmaceutical industry over the last 18 months. The pandemic has really put a spotlight on the need for organizations to improve efficiency and innovation. It's exposed challenges, but also opportunities for innovation across the whole value chain. A core focus is improving R&D cost structures and improving drug discovery and clinical development. For example, we're seeing significant focus in improving clinical R&D data flow and processes as pharma organizations attempt to transition from a transactional workforce to a knowledge workforce that can radically improve clinical outcomes. Also, attitudes towards data and collaboration have also shifted. Organizations are moving away from a closed door policy towards a world of data transparency and collaboration. If we look at the pharma industry, there are four key business imperatives that are changing the fundamentals of this industry. The first is that payers are pushing back against the pricing of drugs. They want to see evidence of real world value in terms of outcomes to patients, and they want to be able to link payments to those outcomes. Secondly, cost structures are under strain. Spending 10 years and over $1 billion to take a single drug to market, that's a challenging business model, especially when there's no guarantee of sales at the end of it. Thirdly, regulators are encouraging digital innovation. They're signaling much more use of, for example, real-world evidence to be substituted for randomized clinical trials. And lastly, there's a lot more competition out there, particularly from non-traditional organizations. So we have generic providers, we have biotech, we have digital therapeutics, and we have IoT-enabled diagnostics. So I see three broad areas of investment over the next 18 to 24 months in the pharmaceutical industry. The first is omni experience. Pharma companies need to shift away from traditional face-to-face sales models to a virtual insight-led engagement. Around 70% of healthcare professionals are now digital natives, and they've got no interest in going back to pre-COVID traditional sales engagement methods. Similarly with patients, they need to better deliver a holistic experience beyond the pill to provide a broader set of therapies and guidance. And pharma companies need to engage and influence the whole customer ecosystem, which includes clinicians, patients, patient groups, and research communities around a specific disease or a set of comorbidities. The second area is operational scale and agility. Organizations need to deliver more efficient and agile organizational structures. These organizational structures need to carry less overhead and be much more responsive to changing industry dynamics. So for example, unified clinical R&D processes or intelligent supply chains that leverage track and trace. And thirdly, the monetization of data. The creation of extensible infrastructure that routinely surfaces relevant data when it's needed. A core part of this is R&D clinical data flow, integrating clinical data across diverse trials into a common repository to identify actionable insights. So the biggest challenge for pharma right now is making digital transformation work and achieving ROI. Digital transformation is not a new story, and pharma companies have been experimenting with digital technologies and analytics-driven pilots. Yet, instead of seeing meaningful impact, what they're seeing is cost and complexity go up. What we've seen is pilotitis. Lots and lots of pilots, but little scaling off the pilot to make impact. Oracle has a rich level of experience in transformation programs that deliver sustainable return on investment. We understand how to scale outside the pilot and get to business value because we see this every day in our largest and most ambitious customers. We're working with customers to achieve business outcomes using co-innovation, bringing together our technology and industry expertise together with a tried and trusted innovation process to work collaboratively with customers on a business problem. Our philosophy is very much based on working on the business problem backwards, not working on the technology forwards. So it's how we work with customers that's unique and different. I'm really proud of how Oracle has supported the fight against COVID-19 and how we've played an instrumental part in collecting data and supporting the scientific community in developing therapies and responding to the virus. So for example, since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've developed and donated to the US government and the FDA a COVID-19 therapeutic learning system, which captures real-world evidence on which treatments work on which patients, what are the optimal dosages, how early the patient is in the disease progression, and what drugs need to be administered.